Let's be honest, most people want a handstand. If you're watching this video, you're probably one of those people. If not, I have no idea why you're watching this video. You get a lot of bang for your buck with this movement. You get wrist mobility, shoulder mobility, upper back mobility, kinesthetic awareness of your lower body. Until you can hold a handstand consistently for about 20 seconds, we'd even consider this more of a strength-based movement versus skill-based movement. It's also a lot of fun to learn a new skill, and let's be honest, it's fun to do something that you can impress your friends with. This is going to be part 1, where we cover the movements you should be doing if you're already comfortable kicking up into the handstand. And if kicking up scares the shit out of you, no worries, we're going to be covering the ground zero approach next week in part 2. Specifically with bodyweight training and handstands in particular, we're looking for what I like to call the 85% sweet spot. Most of the time with this training, you run into one of two things. You have people choosing a variation where we're at about a 50% success rate, so all they're really doing is trying something over and over again with no real success. At best, they're not going to make progress, and at worst, they're going to get injured. Then you've got the other crowd where they choose a variation where they have a 100% success rate. They're going to feel really good about themselves, but they're really not driving adaptation or pushing that progress. So what I'm looking for is this 85% sweet spot, where we have success 85% of the time, but we have some failure. So throughout this video, I'm going to be talking about finding the variation that's your 85% sweet spot. Looking at the handstand, we can break it down into 3 parts. We've got the entry component, we've got the balance component, and we've got the strength and mobility component. When most people try to learn a handstand, what do? They kick up and hope for the best, and they repeat this process over and over again, and either by dumb luck they achieve it, they get bored and they quit, or they get injured and they quit. If you want to ensure success in anything, you need an actual process to follow. So let's go through this 3-step process. Alright, step 1, entering the handstand. 99.9% of people, when they kick up into the handstand, what do? They immediately close their legs. This closing of the legs is going to place our center of mass directly over our base of support, which is going to make balance more difficult. Compare this to the split kick-up technique, where when I kick up, my legs are much wider, increasing my base of support in relation to my center of mass. If I lost you, let's look at this cartoon as a basic visual. Let's flip these guys around here, give them some arms. Same concept applies. Stable, more stable. Because if you start to lose your balance forward or backwards, the split kick-up gives you more room or time to make corrections. And that's all we're trying to do here. We're trying to set you up for success so you can accumulate as much time under tension as possible or accumulate as much reps as possible. Because at the end of the day, we're learning a new skill, so repetition is king here. That's also why we're kicking up using the wall, as it's going to further increase our chances of success. The wall serves as a safety net since it will prevent us from falling forward if we kick up, which is going to eliminate the fear component, which for some is a massive roadblock. The wall can take every failed rep and turn it into a successful rep since we have the chance to make adjustments. Common errors for the split kick-ups. The most common error I'm going to see with the split kick-up is not taking our time between reps. What I'm talking about is turning into a fucking CrossFit workout where we kick up, back down, as opposed to taking our time, assessing where we screwed up, and making the necessary adjustments so we can further improve from rep to rep. The split kick-up is going to cover entering the handstand, but what the fuck do we do once we get into the handstand? This is why we're doing toe pulls. They allow us to focus 100% on our balance, irrespective of having to kick up into the handstand. You're going to want to enter the chest wall handstand position, roughly 2 palms length from the wall. Once you are set up, to enter the handstand position, slowly remove one foot and then the other. For beginners, prior to having them hold it for any length of time, I prefer to have them perform them as dynamic reps. So you pull both feet off the wall, hold just for a moment, and push back towards the wall. This goes back to our 85% principle. If I was to ask you to, from a toe pull position, hold a 5 to 10 second handstand, most likely 1 out of every 10 to 25 reps would be successful. Instead, by making each rep 1 second and having you repeat that for reps, you're accumulating that time. And once you can consistently hit 5 to 10 reps on these toe pulls, then you can transition from a dynamic exercise for reps into an isometric exercise where we're holding the position. Lastly, we have chest to wall handstands. Yes, this movement is important for improving our positional awareness and our overall line in the handstand. But I'm simply using this movement as a way to further increase time under tension in the handstand position, irrespective of balance. While we did set certain parameters in place to increase our rate of success with the split kick-ups and the toe pulls, keep in mind your balance still sucks, and at some point in time, you're gonna gas out. And these split kick-ups and toe pulls, you can think of kind of like our primary movements for the day. And just like any training session, it doesn't matter if it's handstands or deadlifts, after we perform our primary work for the day, we want to follow it up with secondary or support work. Typically that's going to be to create a hypertrophy response to increase the cross-sectional area of the muscles. In this case with the handstand, we're doing it to further work on strength and position irrespective of balance. With the chest to wall handstand, how close you can get your hands to the wall is really going to be dependent on your level of mobility. The main thing to keep in mind, however close you can get your hands to the wall, we want the shoulders directly over the wrists. This ensures you're keeping your weight in your shoulders, so it's actually transferring to handstand strength. Compare this to, let's say if I let my shoulders drop behind my wrist, now I'm resting my body weight more or less against the wall, not getting the most I can out of this exercise. Let's go ahead and put this together in a routine that you could be doing 1 to 3 times a week. With this routine, there's 2 things I want you to keep in mind. With the split kick-ups, even though I say 5 reps, after each rep you can come down, shake the hands out, and even take a moment to be aware of how it felt. Did I underkick? Did I overkick? How do I improve my balance for the next rep? Don't be that person doing this exercise for time. And on the toe pulls, I put accumulate at first. That's all I got for this week. And if you're wondering how to bridge the gap from split kick-ups and toe pulls to actual handstands, be sure to subscribe to my weekly coaching newsletter that includes private coaching videos only available to subscribers. If you like this video, give me the thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and remember, next week we're covering what to do if this video was too advanced for you.